Remind everybody what Steve Young, different Steve, same je ne sais quoi, what Steve said to us on Tuesday when we asked him, is there now more pressure than ever coming up next year for the 49ers?
The most pressure was last year, right? Because last year the Rams are down, the whole division's down, Seahawks are down, the Cardinals are way down. You know, in the playoffs, you play a Packer team that's been middling the whole time. You got to up and start Lions squad. You're like, that's how we get to the Super Bowl, and then you play a down year Chiefs team. Like, of all the times that you're set up to do it, that was it. But since the Ravens at Christmas, I mean, we just weren't the same. And, you know, we held Patrick Mahomes to 19 points. You could have told me, look, Patrick Mahomes won't score 3 touchdowns. We're not going to win that game? Like, you know, you're not going to walk over the Packers. We're not going to walk over the Lions. Like, things were haywire from Christmas on, and that's why last year was the time with the best roster in football to go get it done. And the fact is it didn't happen. That happens. It happened to me. I get that. But now next year, I think the Rams will be better. I think you know, Marvin Harris will make the Cards better. The Seahawks will be better. The Lions will be, the Packers will be better. Like, it's going to get better, and we're probably not. I don't know if we'll get better, but hopefully we can stay the same and still beat the rank and file with this amazing roster we have and the way that we are innovative. We deploy the guys on offense. Then, yeah, great. But what just happened was a big miss. It was too bad.
Ooh, so those are big comments right there.
Yeah,
and we wanted to follow up with him, and we did. We caught up with him late last night after our show, and this was out at the Dwight Clark Legacy Series, and that was among the things, following up on that, among the things we talked about. But Steve, in true Steve style, just kind of sits down with us and immediately launches into a little bit of a playful conversation. So why don't we just pick it up right there when he sits down?
Yep, you hear us okay?
I got you.
Yeah, okay.
Sounds good.
We good, Tim?
Can you sing with that voice?
Boy, I tried in middle school. I did middle school plays.
It feels like if you could sing with that voice, you could be like...
It'd be good. Yeah. Daddy Warbucks.
You sure you can't sing with it?
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Little Lou Rawls, maybe?
Yeah.
Like something.
Yeah.
Because even if you could get close, you might be something, bro.
I might.
Look, my daughter just picked up high jump, and she's going to win the state this year. So, you sure you don't want to?
I mean,
try it. There's like you never know.
Are you coaching?
No, I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about
We talked about a late career lounge act for him.
Yeah,
you know, when things wind down.
Thinking he might not really know.
Hey,
you might want to see right there. I think
he's got it, Steve.
You could be like Telly Savalas.
Screw you, man. All right.
You could talk.
Tip your servers. Yeah, that's what I did with Daddy Warbucks.
You talk.
All right, Steve Young. Here we go. Let's have some fun. Steve, you won't know this, but over the last 48 hours after we last spoke to you, I asked you what was the pressure like for this coming 49er year, and you immediately said the pressure was last year. And we've been like replaying this sound clip because I think it grabbed a lot of 49er fans and made them sort of wonder, is the window starting to close a little bit? What would you say to that?
Well, I would say that, you know, the really great organizations, the window never actually closes. It can narrow and then widen and narrow. And so, as we talked about the other day, if you want these names to win a Super Bowl, then it's a limited window. And that's narrowing, and narrowing quickly, because as you got to go pay Brock, it's going to change. And so those names the jerseys you're wearing today that you love are not going to be the jerseys if we're going to win a Super Bowl in a couple of 3 years, which is still possible because it doesn't close. It just depends on who you draft to replace those guys that you're wearing their jersey, that you end up wearing that new person's jersey in a couple, 3 years. That's the 49ers challenge, and the teams that do that stay around the top for a long time. And I think that with Kyle's offense, John's vision, Jed's ownership, we can stay in that mix. And then you could say, oh, it's not going to. Faithful should not panic. We have an infrastructure the window will not close. It's just, again, the guys that you love, if you want them to all to win a Super Bowl, it's not either last year or this year, right? It just has to happen.
And the one guy that we love more and more each and every day is number 13, Brock Purdy, and it feels like his ability to keep playing makes the window more sustainable. Are you completely 100% sold that he's a guy who not only will get another contract, but he could end up being here for a very long time.
Yeah, because his processing power is a superpower. There are a few guys that I've seen through the years that can process like he does and can manage it, and then also is... You saw the Super Bowl. It was like, yeah, in a way it was another game. It's just the way how their psyche deals with adrenaline. And some people's adrenaline, 99% of of the world are humans. When adrenaline comes, your heart rate goes up, your mind shrinks, and you become kind of fight or flight. There are some people where the adrenaline comes, the moment gets big, and they kind of like heartbeat goes down. And it's just an odd... And those are the guys that play great football and quarterbacks, because that's not a defensive end. No, that's different. Not a corner, not a linebacker, not a running back, but a quarterback. That is the thing that differentiates the great players. And so he has that. And then now he's got to figure out how, he even said, I'm not the biggest, I'm not the strongest, I'm not the fastest. And so that recognition is today's game, the prototype is Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. Those are the guys that Joe Burrow, and really in many ways, his admission, that's not me. He's going to have to do it a little bit. It's like the road's a little bit longer. He's going to have to take an extra lap because he can't just wind up and do all that stuff and run around. But I think what he could do is do what he did against Green Bay and do what he showed is like, look, you think I'm not going anywhere? I'm going to nick you 5 times today in championship football in January, just like he did in Green Bay, and it's going to be the difference. And if he's not going to do that, I think that's why it gets so hard for people that can't get those yards in today's game. The Kirk Cousins, there are guys that just aren't going to, and it's just a longer road. Doesn't mean you can't do it. And so I think if he could lean in and kick out 50, 60 yards 5 times next season and twice in the playoffs, that's what I'm talking about.
Did you look at the schedule, and what do you think?
It's funny. There's just so few teams that I think are any good.
Really?
I think that I trust to go year to year and to do what the 49ers are doing. I think and first of all, you have to have the quarterback to do it. So what are the 6 teams that have it? Well, we know Joe Burrow can do it. We know Josh Allen can do it. We know Pat can do it. We think that Lamar can grow into it. It looks like he's going to be his MVP last year. Justin looks like, if they don't just run the football in a small cloud of dust, like if they actually give him the ball and go win it, he can do it. CJ looks like he can do it, and maybe Jordan can do it. And there's like under 10 that have a chance. Because if you don't have that guy, you don't have a chance in today's game. It's too wide open. So I see the schedule. I go, who are those? Where do we see those guys? Most of them in the AFC.
Yeah.
So I don't. And if you don't come and look, when we see them lately, we've lost. When we saw Pat Mahomes, we saw Joe Burrow. We're going to see Josh Allen this year. When we see Lamar, we haven't. When we see it, we lose. So in other words, that's what I worry about. Everyone else, because we have so much, yeah, we got to beat them, but I don't, the schedule's like, yeah, we got Dallas, and then, I was like, I don't care.
We're going to let you go, but I want, this night, Dwight Clark, just, what does this all mean to you?
Multiple things. First of all, what I love, and this is the spirit of, I think Harris Barton might have been the first one that came up with this. I don't want to credit him if it wasn't, because it might have been Eddie, it might have been Jed, it might have been, Ronnie. I'm not sure who first came up with it. There were needs that kept coming up from old 49ers. Things that you just, I need a hip replacement. I can't walk, or I literally can't get to my vision's gone. You think, the system will take care of them. That wasn't taking care of them. They had needs that, as Niners, we just wanted to step up. So the Golden Heart Fund is to do that. It's the money to go step up as people. Niners have been here, whether it's for a year or whether 10 years or whatever. We're gonna take care of. We're gonna watch for you. We're gonna watch for you and make sure you're okay. So that's tonight. And then you add Dwight's name, because Dwight was somebody that when he was here, I threw his last touchdown pass. When he was on the team, he was the Pied Piper. You know what I mean? There were a lot of interesting personalities on the team, a lot of dominant, big-time stuff. But he was the Pied Piper that just went everywhere and sowed seeds like Johnny Appleseed of, like, goodwill. and it was vital that we had. I'm trying to think who would be today's Dwight Clark on the team, but he was that guy that just was the glue that went through everybody. So when you talk about the Golden Heart Fund and what its intent is, and then you add Dwight's name to who he was, that's why people come. That's why when they call me, I'm like, I'm there. I want to support that.
Thanks so much, man.
Yeah, thank
you so much. Great to see you.
Check me out. If I'm saying crazy stuff, make sure you check me, because I think I'm right on all this stuff, but, keep me posted.
You're talking about the schedule or
everything.
Just everything. The lounge singer.
Well, I think there's still a hope for that.
Why don't you give him a few bars on the way out?
Literally,
I did Daddy Warbucks in middle school, and it was talk singing.
What I'm telling you, tell you stuff.
NYC.
That's singing.
What is it about you?
I actually would go long on your voice, the ability to maybe do something. I would say this. If I had your voice, I would be singing.
We talked about 22 years from now, a watered-down cocktail. He's live in Laughlin doing shows at 10 and midnight. Boy, I flew in from Poughkeepsie, and boy, are my arms tired. Yeah, exactly.
Career's just getting started, Steve. Let's go. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it. Enjoy the night.
Yeah, there it is. That's Steve Young.
So good.
And I am now live on Willie and Dibby announcing my retirement from radio. I spent all last night on the phone with every single hotel director in Vegas and Dibs. It's Friday, and I'm starting something new on Monday.
I like it.
Yeah.
And based on your track record and your reluctance, it's probably going to be off strip. But I like your chances to
way off.
Like Koval Street. I don't know if you've ever been on Koval. There's some spots out there now. Ellis Island is one that we know pretty well.
They haven't changed the name of it to Cavill Street?
No, I doubt that's happening. Maybe once they show up.
Wonder how many people got that one.
Yep.
Anyway, we'll keep doing this for as long as you all will have me. But Steve Young said a couple of things, a bunch that's discussion worthy. But
yeah.
What does that mean to you, or does it surprise you? We ask him about the schedule, and there's two things that pop out. One, there's just not that many good teams.
Yep.
I had spent 3 hours going, dude, this schedule is so hard. It's so hard. And Steve Young walks up and goes, there's not very many good teams in the NFL.
Exactly.
I was like, what? Really? That's how we feel about this? He makes a compelling case with the quarterbacks that there are really only 6, 7, 8 that are even capable of doing this.
Right.
But then kind of the right hook of, and have you noticed that when the Niners play one of these guys lately, they lose?
Well, they lose to Andy and Pat, for sure.
Joe Burrow.
But that was a scheduled loss, in my opinion.
Well, but you
Lamar came in on Christmas and really gave it to you.
Lamar, you can say, but it was a scheduled loss.
Sure.
It's a game on the schedule against Joe Burrow.
Right.
You're supposed to go win it. And they get their butts kicked in that game.
Yes, but you look at the schedule from Steve's standpoint, and you've got week 1, you're hosting Aaron, and then you've got, not a lot after that.
For a while.
For a long time. You got Pat in week 7, also at home. Then you've got, do you want to give it to Jordan
Dak.
Love? Jordan Love first. Dak, Steve didn't include Dak, I don't think.
Steve did not. And he did include Jordan Love, but
week 12.
In a ... we'll see sort of a way.
Josh Allen in week 13.
Yep, he's on the list.
And I don't even think he included Tua, did he?
He did not, and he did not include Jared Goff.
In week 17.
Jordan Love is the only NFC quarterback that he mentioned, and he mentioned it as a maybe.
Exactly. So from a Steve schedule standpoint, 3 S's, there's only 3 on the schedule. It's Aaron, Pat, and Josh.
Well, I don't even know if he mentioned Aaron.
True.
Sure, he was that. I don't know if he is anymore.
Right. Especially in week 1 where he's going to have some rust,
We've seen him for some time. How many plays was it when he got hurt?
4.
Yeah. How many?
4.
All right. We've seen him for 4 plays as a Jet.
Exactly.
I'm not going to.
Damn, he looked good.
And now, is he 40? Is he 40 years old now?
At 39's my guess, but I'll look it up.
Yeah, I don't think that's terrifying in terms of quarterbacking, and the Niners have owned him in recent years anyway.
Yeah.
Toward the end of his Packers career.
Aaron Rodgers will be, he is 40. He'll be 41 in December.
There you go.
Yeah, geez.
Am I overrating the 49ers schedule when I look at this thing? It looks very hard to me. And Steve walks up and goes, not that many good teams.
Right.
Not that many good quarterbacks. A lot of them are not even on the schedule, and just about all of them are not in the NFC. Huh. All right, so if Brock stays healthy, are the Niners just in?
14-3. There you go.